Hello and welcome back to the Global Flow series. I am so excited today to introduce Kathryn McKinnon to join us. Welcome, Kathryn.
Hi, Joanna. Thanks for having me.
I am going to read out your official bio because it is amazing. And today, we're going to be talking a lot about productivity, and I just want to share with everybody your official bio, and then we'll get stuck into this amazing topic. So I'm so excited. Kathryn McKinnon is a Harvard Business School and Fortune 500 executive coach, time management expert, best-selling author of Triple Your Time Today. I think we could all use a bit of that. On Amazon, a keynote speaker, a seminar leader, and CEO of McKinnon and Company, dedicated to helping executives, leaders, and business owners achieve the best results with their time. She's a graduate of Harvard Business School, a certified WBENC Women's Business Enterprise, and creator of the signature coaching and training program, 7 Time Management Best Practices of Highly Productive Leaders. Clients include entrepreneurs, executives, corporations, including CBS Radio, PBS, State Street Bank, Ernst & Young, Roche Diagnostics, Bristol Myers Squibb, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PepsiCo, oh my goodness, Kraft, Quaker Oats, and even Harvard Business School. Oh my goodness, so many. She's also been featured on CBS Radio, CBS News, the Boston Globe, More Magazine, Men's Health, Psychology Today, international seminars, radio shows, and is listed among the top 100 productivity experts to follow on Twitter. Oh my goodness. I was just saying to Kathryn, I was like, I'm going to learn something today. I'm learning something from everybody, but I just have a really good feeling about this. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to share a little bit of your story and how did you become this doing what you do today? Is this how you started? Where did you start out?
I started a long time ago. It's been many years. My career didn't take the kind of path that one would expect it to. But I started coaching because I was teaching a seminar at Harvard Business School, and it was a career seminar, and people came up to me afterwards and kept asking me if I could coach them. And I wasn't a coach, but I thought, well, maybe I know at least one thing more than they do. So I started coaching, and that was over 25 years ago. That coaching evolved over time. And it wasn't an easy path for me. I learned productivity tips and my system by making a lot of mistakes. And I discovered that if I was going to be a coach, I needed to have a niche. And I think I took for granted the fact that I had some difficulty managing my own time, but then had figured it out. And so I thought, well, then maybe that's what I'm good at. And sure enough, it was something that stuck and really fit. And so I've been helping people for over 25 years now. And I love it because it has this ripple effect. You don't just help one person, you help a whole family, you help a village, you help a business, you help a community. And so coaching was just the right fit for me. And time management is something that I think everybody can use some help with. And so if I can help your crew and, your tribe, then I'll be delighted to offer whatever I can to make life a little bit easier for people.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And what I see so often in this community is that we have these big, beautiful, bold dreams and goals, but when my clients, they're always telling me they're overwhelmed, they don't have the time, they can't manage it. And what breaks my heart is the thought that people's dreams don't happen because of that, or the companies that they want to have aren't birthed, right? Or whatever that thing is. So I just think it's such an important topic, and I'm so glad we're going to cover it today. But before we start, and the one question I'm asking everybody, what does flow mean to you?
Well, to me, flow is living your life the way you want to live it, managing your time so that you're doing exactly what you want to do, and spending your time in a way that fully utilizes your gifts and your talents and brings joy to your own heart and to other people too. Flow to me is sort of living holistically. It's keeping in mind your physical self, your spiritual self, your emotional self, the whole picture. It's not just, and time management isn't just about that either. It's about taking into account every aspect of yourself and honoring that, and doing whatever you can to be the best self you can be at every moment of your life. And that's not easy to do, but we certainly can try, and I think it's worth trying.
Oh, absolutely, right. If we only make, a 2% shift, can you imagine that compounded over the rest of your life? You're saving yourself years, probably. I don't know what the numbers on that are, but right. Can you tell me a little bit more about so we're going to talk about the 7 truths and lies about productivity, which I'm really excited about because I probably believe them all. But can you tell me a little bit about how your beliefs drive your productivity?
Well, before we start, I'd like to just let you know that what we're talking about today is some of the very same information that I share with my clients. And it's just a small piece of my signature executive coaching and training system. So if you want to experience a constant state of flow in your life so that you have more time to do what you want, then you really have to start by examining your beliefs about time. You see, we all grow up being taught what to believe. We get our beliefs from our parents and our family and caregivers and teachers and religious organizations and the media and friends and government and so many other influences in our lives from the day we're born. And these beliefs aren't good or bad. They're just what we're taught. And we carry these beliefs with us from childhood. And because of this, they become embedded in our subconscious mind as our truths. Your skill with time management is a product of all these early influences and truths that you have come to believe. And the way you spend your time is directly related to your beliefs about time and productivity. Let me say it another way. Your beliefs influence and contribute to the habits you've developed over your career and lifetime, including the way you manage your time. Now, some of these beliefs are actually false. They're not true. But because you may believe them to be true, because you were taught them to be true, they can have a profound influence in directing how you manage your time. And once you know what your beliefs are, Joanna, you'll be able to understand why you spend time the way you do. And when you become more aware of the habits you've created based on your beliefs, then you'll be able to make better choices with your time and develop new productive habits.
Oh, I love that. I talk a lot about beliefs and that kind of thing, but I've never really thought about my beliefs around time, which seems kind of ironic sitting here talking to you. But I've never worked on it as like a core thing that I have to change and develop, but it's beginning to make a lot of sense. So just what are some of the beliefs that you've maybe seen people have that haven't served them necessarily? Just in case anyone's like, what do you mean? Like, just as an example, maybe.
Well, to clarify what I mean by this, let's test some 7 common assumptions and beliefs about productivity, and take a true or false quiz to help you see what you believe about time and productivity, and to help you become more aware of why you spend time the way you do.
Yeah.
And as you do this, hopefully the people in your group will be taking the quiz too. And it will also include some tips and recommendations to help you change the way you spend your time if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
So let's take a quiz.
Right now?
Okay, yeah.
Ooh. I was like, I'll go and download it afterwards. No.
Well, I'm not going to grade you on it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm open. Let's do it.
All right. So keep an open mind about this. Okay. So number one, true or false? Working more hours will result in increased productivity. In other words, you can get more done if you just work harder. Do you think that's true?
I'd like to say I'm shifting away from it, but at some level, I probably still do believe it, to be honest. If I'm really honest, yes.
Okay, well, we've been taught that from childhood, that if you just work harder, you put in your time, you put in more hours, you're going to get more done. I heard that growing up, and I know all of my clients have heard that too.
Yeah.
Well, let's test that. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, it's called the OECD. They track the workplace productivity of more than 30 advanced and developing countries. Okay, their research discovered that the average American worker works almost 1,800 hours a year. And that's a little more than the OECD average, okay? And the average American worker brings home about $40,000 in disposable income, which is more than most of the other countries, by the way. And America's productivity is pretty high on average. Now, in Mexico, people work more hours than the OECD average, but they make less and they produce less. In South Korea, people also work more and produce less. People in Greece put in more time than the OECD average, but they're less productive. And Russians also work more on average, but they don't make as much and they produce even less. However, in France, people put in fewer hours and they produce more than average, while in Germany, workers produce even more and they work even less than the OECD average. So we've been taught to believe that if we just work harder or we put in more hours, we're going to be more productive. But based on this research, which was pretty broad, that's a false belief. It's just not true. You see, the truth is you don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter with your time. I'm sure you've heard that too.
I've heard that, yeah.
You always evaluate how you do things. If you track time, if you see if things can be done in fewer steps, in less time, with less effort by leveraging your time, then you're going to get more done. So it's not the number of hours you put in that matters. What matters most is how you spend the time you have.
Absolutely. And yeah, a productivity tool is not just doubling your hours, right? Okay.
How you spend those hours.
Yeah, I'm getting better, I have to admit. But my first year in business, I think I worked around the clock. Everything else stopped. But I know long term that's not sustainable, and it hasn't been sustainable, and so I've already had to change how I operate. Okay.
Let's keep going. Number 2, true or false? If you have a plan, if you know your goals at the start of each day and you stay focused on those goals, you'll get more done.
True.
That statement is true. However, I know many entrepreneurs and executives who don't have a plan for the day. They don't have goals for the day. They let their day run their calendar instead of letting their run theirs. If you know what you want to accomplish and if your goals for the day, the week, and the month, if you prioritize activities for the day and where you need to spend your time, and then you stay focused on your highest priorities, this will help you increase your productivity and accomplish your goals. The most productive entrepreneurs and executives I know that I've interviewed actually create a mindset for success with their time. They do this by having a plan, by knowing their goals and breaking large projects into smaller tasks to stay focused on their goals, to avoid procrastination and from becoming overwhelmed by too much information.
Yeah, I love that. So many people, I guess the two words I hear a lot when people come to me are I procrastinate or I'm overwhelmed. Like probably 2 of the top 5 problems.
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Number 3, true or false? Multitasking helps you get more done.
Oh, ouch. former me thought I was doing myself a favor, so I thought it was true, and I'm changing camps though.
Well, I know a lot of people who really believe in multitasking, and they believe that it does help them get more done. But according to Psychology Today, it's false, because recent estimates are that you can lose up to 40% of your productivity if you multitask. And the reason is because we can't actually do more than one task at a time. According to research by Harvard Business School, we don't really do multiple tasks simultaneously. Instead, what we do is we switch tasks. We go from one task to another, even though it might be instantaneous. And in the instant, you're actually losing productivity because you've taken your focus off the original task, and it takes time to regain your focus once you've interrupted it. And you can't think more than one thought at a time either. The fact is that 20% of the work you do produces 80% of the impact and effectiveness. Now, we make the mistake of believing that because we think we need to be busy all the time, we're being effective. And the busier we get, the more multitasking we try to do. But according to the research, the result is that you're just actually less effective. So focus on identifying the 20% of your tasks that are really effective and do them one at a time.
Okay. Yes. I remember one of, I think it was a coach of mine, and she said to somebody else, not actually to me, she said, being busy doesn't make you special. And I think there was a sort of collective gasp around the room, because I think, especially as women, we sort of almost wear our busyness as this like badge of honor. It's like, well, you think you're busy? Have you seen my schedule? Like, like it's almost like we're proud of how busy we are and how we don't have any time for ourselves. Have you noticed that happening?
I have, and I've also noticed that many women want to be busy, but they want to feel as though they're doing something to help other people. They want to be constantly contributing. And while that's honorable, it's, like I tell my clients, when you say yes to someone else, you say no to yourself. So you can't constantly be saying yes to everyone all the time. You have to say yes to yourself occasionally too. If you want to have that flow, or you want to have that balance, or whatever you want to call it in your life. People hate that word now, but I still think that, balance is an important thing to have. So busy, not necessarily, that being busy doesn't necessarily make you productive.
Absolutely. It's funny. I laugh at my business is actually called Mission for Balance, believe it or not. And I think it's hilarious. And I sort of was like, once I found out more about it, I was like, maybe I should change it. And then I was like, maybe it's still true. I don't know. I have this love-hate relationship with my business name, but probably because I'm still on my mission for balance, but we're getting there. I love that. You say yes to someone else and you're saying no to yourself.
Yeah. Okay, want to go on to number 4?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. True or false? Knowing when you're most productive will help you accomplish more. What do you think? You think that's true or false?
True.
Well, it is true. Joanna, do you know your most productive time of day?
It's probably mornings. Mm-hmm. But this twist I have, and this is an excuse, and I know it's crap, but because I'm in Australia, my mornings end up getting taken up with calls and a lot of time with the US, and so my days end up kind of upside down, and I know that's not actually good for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I ask my clients that question, they often don't know the answer. And yet then they wonder why they can't accomplish as much as they'd like. And it's a problem, because if you're spending your most productive time of day doing email or other tasks that aren't your true priorities, you won't get the best work done. I'd like to share a client story with you to elaborate on this, because it's a good story. Ray was a client who was always being interrupted and distracted in the middle of the day. And that happened to be the time when she chose to do her most important work. Yet after tracking how she spent her day, because I taught her how to do that, we discovered that her most productive time was actually in the morning. So I taught her my system for managing distractions and interruptions and suggested that she switch her schedule around. Do her most important projects in the morning when she was most productive and less likely to be interrupted, and then block out time in her calendar in the afternoon to plan for interruptions. Now, the result was that she gained a full hour of productive time every day. That was at least 5 hours a week she gained. Her stress level went down. She was able to accomplish her work during the day and meet her client needs. And the beauty of this system was that the block of time she set aside for interruptions became a bonus of free time if the day evolved without interruption. Now, for most people, before lunch is the most productive time of day. It's generally the time of day when your energy is highest. So if your productive time of day is the morning, then do your most critical tasks in the morning while your mind is sharp and your energy is highest. And that could be making sales calls or client work or writing proposals or business planning, reviewing financials, marketing, whatever it is, all projects and tasks that you need to do with a sharp and clear mind. Finding your most important work during your most productive time of day will help you end your day with a greater feeling of accomplishment.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it sounds so simple, but you can't always see it for yourself. Like, it took me a long time to even know I had a more productive time, or because we've become these slaves to email, don't we? Like, and it can, as soon as you open it, it can take over your entire day.
If you let it.
If you let it, of course. But yeah, especially if we're in the wanting to help and contribute, people pleasing camp, as so many people are. But
right.
Yeah.
So I'm just suggesting people start to notice. People start to become more aware of when is your most productive time of day, and then do one project, something that you want to accomplish during your day during that time, and see how it goes, and then extend that time if you can. So it doesn't have to take an hour. Maybe it's a half an hour. Maybe it's 20 minutes. Whatever it is, just notice when you're most productive. And for some people, they're not always productive in the morning. They're not always productive at night. For some people, it actually changes. So just track it for a while to see what the patterns are, because we all fall into habits, and we tend to have pretty consistent patterns when we are most productive. So just notice.
That's really interesting. You said it switches, because I'm now wondering. I think I might be a switcher. But then it just, I guess I would become to believe that if my mornings were full of calls and that was the only time I had to get stuff done. So I'll have a think about that one. I'm just so curious. I love it.
Going on to number 5.
I love it. It's like you're asking the questions. This is perfect.
Okay. True or false? Your thoughts don't impact your productivity. What do you think about that?
False.
Well, that's right. It's false. Your thoughts create your reality. What you think about has a profound impact on your productivity, although most people don't realize that because they don't notice what they think about. Your thoughts, both conscious and unconscious, have a direct influence on the actions you take and the results you get with your time. I want to tell you another story about a client I had who was, Melissa, was a manager in a company, and she was promoted into a new job. And she was really excited to take on the position, but it was undefined. Now, Melissa was a perfectionist, and she needed to think things through. She lived in her head, and she worried a lot about things that might go wrong. The problem was she spent so much time worrying about getting things right, she couldn't get anything done. She was afraid of failing in this new job. She started second-guessing herself. She became paralyzed at work. She started to lose confidence and to procrastinate. She began to miss deadlines, and she lost a lot of credibility with her coworkers. This manager, who was a star performer, was failing miserably at this new job, and it became a self-fulfilling prophecy for her. She became depressed and demoralized, and she had dug herself into a hole so deep she couldn't see her way out. She worried so much and was under so much stress that she became physically ill and ended up in the hospital and lost a lot of time at work. In fact, she was on the brink of losing her job. But the company had invested a lot in her, so they called me in to help her figure out what went wrong and to help her fix it. And with my signature coaching system, I showed Melissa how to get out of the hole and to be confident and productive again. What I did was I taught her my scheduling system and a system to help her manage her priorities, which she hadn't figured out. I helped her change her mindset and take some steps to define her goals and priorities, to break this undefined job into manageable projects and focus on her success instead of her potential failure. She turned around and became a star performer again in a few short months. She changed her mindset completely. And by the way, I worked with Melissa 2 years ago, and recently I checked in with her boss to see how things were going. She's doing better than ever. My system creates a sustainable, positive effect on your productivity, and it also gives you a competitive advantage. Now, this is an extreme case, Joanna, but it's to make a point. When you allow your mind to be consumed with worry or fear or doubt, anger, guilt, whatever, you leave very little room for more productive thinking. You take your focus off your goals and you don't achieve your goals. Every action you take is preceded by a thought, even if it's subconscious. I'd like you to remember this. You control what you think about and how you choose to spend your time. That's pretty much all you control. Notice your thoughts. Are they supportive? Are they productive? You see, worry is just a distraction that keeps you off balance and off track. Worrying won't help you reach your goals, but taking action will. So if you're worried or anxious about something, just ask yourself, what can I do right now to change the situation? If you can't do anything about it, then let it go. When you let go of the negative, unsupportive thinking and you fill your mind with more productive thoughts, you keep your focus on your goals. You start to live with a greater sense of accomplishment and inspiration and motivation, and you actually gain more control over your productivity and your time.
Oh, I love that. I think so many people could identify with Melissa, that kind of, the worry and the doubt and the stress. And again, it's something I hear all the time. And I love that you were able to turn it around. And I think this is such a key thing. What I wrote down was when you're consumed with doubt and worry, you can't focus. And it's just so unhelpful. But I think a lot of people struggle to get out of that place. If you get any ways on how to manage that, the doubt or the worry, to get your mind more clear and more focused? Oh, hang on, I think you've frozen.
What I recommend people do is stop and take a breath. Take yourself out of this situation. Take yourself out of the drama. And look at the situation as if you were observing yourself. And then just ask yourself, can I control what's going on right now? If you can't, then let it go. If you can, then take some steps to change the situation. Take some action. Do one small thing. Don't try to change the whole thing. Just take one step at a time. And that will get you back on track. It'll help you get back into a state of flow and in a state of focus, and help you start focusing back on your goals again.
Oh, I love that. And it's so simple. We don't breathe. I used to, in my old corporate job, I remember I used to come out and we have these busy, intense times. And I'd be like, I haven't breathed all day. It was actually something I used to say quite regularly, because I'd be like, And now I'm like, okay, I need to actually breathe. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, if you can just have that slight detachment from the moment, you can it sometimes seems so much more obvious. I love it.
It doesn't have to take an hour. It can take as little as 15 seconds. Get yourself back. You just have to know what the steps are and just take a breath. Ask yourself if you can change the situation. If you can't, let it go. If you can, then do something about it. One step at a time.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Were we at number 6?
Number 6, true or false?
Okay.
If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Do you believe this?
Probably yes. There's still a part of me that probably believes that. I'd like to say no, but yeah, there's a little bit of me that still believes that.
Okay, well, the problem with this belief is that you can't be an expert at everything, and you can't be everywhere at once. There's more than one way to accomplish a job, and it might not be your way. Trying to do it all can result in increased stress and overwhelm. And according to research by John Trugakos, Associate Professor of Management at the University of Toronto, job-related stress costs companies hundreds of billions of dollars each year. So this belief is false. Judy was a client of mine and president of a company who was trying to do it all, and she didn't know the value of her time. And she was stuck in the weeds performing operational tasks that somebody else could do, but she couldn't let go of. And she wasn't taking the time to direct the strategy of the company and build the business, which was how she should have been. She was overwhelmed and completely stressed out, working 16-hour days. So I taught her my system to leverage her time and an easy way to calculate the value of her time, which, by the way, is in the free training we're going to talk about in a minute on my website at Kathryn-McKinnon.com. Now, once Judy embraced my system for leveraging her time, she realized she had to let go of activities that were not worth her time. Highly productive entrepreneurs and executives know that if their time is worth, let's say, $100 an hour, they shouldn't be spending time doing $10 an hour jobs. You have Fiverr for that, don't you? So if you're an executive or business owner and you manage people, you've got to let go of some of the tasks. You need to take on the role of mentor. You need to allow others to do their job and stop micromanaging them. You have to delegate jobs so you can leverage your time to work on your highest priorities. And you have to trust that others will do the job they were hired to do. Now, Judy learned to leverage her time, to let go of tasks that were not worth her time. And as a result, she spent that time building her business and bringing in client contracts that were worth more than $1 million. So, Joanna, what's your time worth? Calculate the value of your time. And if you do that, you think twice before taking on activities that aren't worth your time.
Absolutely. I love that. It's such an important lesson. And I'm not perfect, but I'm getting better. I have some awesome people that are helping me, for instance, even with this summit. So I knew I couldn't do it myself, and I was like, I need a team. So yeah, I'm getting better. But yeah, what would, have you got one great tip on how to start to delegate?
Oh, I think that one of the things you could do is figure out what are those activities that you're really good at, and what are some things you're not so good at, or that you don't enjoy, or that you really would like to take off your plate, and start with something small. Because if you're a business owner, or even a controlling freak executive or A-type personality, it can be hard to let things go. So let something go that is not going to be critical for you. And for a business owner, it could be doing social media. You got to do it, but it may not be the thing you love to do. If you're a business owner, you need to be building a business. If you're an executive, you need to be bringing money in for the company, or managing your clients, or building your company. So focus on those activities that will bring you the most profit or the most income, and then let some of the other operational tasks go.
Yeah, I think I see so many people stuck in this space, and like, big entrepreneurs and business owners doing their own graphics, doing their social media is a perfect example, and not letting go. So it's such an important lesson. Yeah, that letting go of the iron grip. I love it. So good.
You have to look at the cost of you.
Sorry?
You have to look at what it's costing you as well.
Right.
If you're spending
Absolutely.
time doing things that are taking you 10 hours when you could be bringing money in, building your business, you have to weigh cost and then the benefit of taking on each task or each job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. All right. Number 7. I'm curious.
7. True or false? Your work environment can help you save time or waste it.
True.
It's true. According to psychology, there are a lot of costs associated with a cluttered work environment. A messy or cluttered environment leads to increased stress. And that's because it distracts us by drawing our attention away from what needs to be, focused on. Clutter constantly sends signals to the brain that our work is never done. And it makes us anxious because we're never quite sure when we're going to get to the bottom of the pile. Clutter creates these feelings of guilt, subliminal, but still feelings of guilt and embarrassment, especially when other people unexpectedly drop by our workspace. And it also inhibits creativity and productivity by invading the open spaces that allow most people to think and brainstorm and problem solve. But the costs of a work environment are monetary too. Brother International conducted a survey to determine how disorganization affects office productivity. And the responses gathered from, I think it was 800 US employees, reported that the search for lost and misplaced materials accounts for nearly 38 hours, or about 1 work week annually per employee. Okay? And in addition, the costs associated for full-time employees looking for misplaced items in the office tops $89 billion annually. So if you file important documents in easily accessible locations and you keep the tools and documents you need within reach for accomplishing important repeatable tasks, you're going to save time and productivity. So what other lies about time and productivity do you believe that might be holding you back? What other truths about time are you not embracing? Question your beliefs. Ask yourself if what you believe is truly serving you, or is it a belief that you need to let go of? Because the bottom line is, if you follow these time management truths and you stop believing the lies about productivity, you'll gain control over your time. And you'll be amazed at how much more efficient and effective you can be. So now that you know your beliefs, you can start to understand, hopefully, why you spend and manage your time the way you do. And as you continue to become more aware of the habits you've created based on your beliefs, you're going to be able to make new choices with your time and develop new productive habits that actually support you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, I love that, and it's all just so true. Even the lies. No, I'm kidding. But gosh, I was just thinking. I used to be an auditor, and I worked for KPMG and some other big companies. And the number of times, I mean, auditors are hired out at a pretty high rate, and the number of times I've spent looking for stuff it would boggle my mind. It probably took up, I don't know, a fifth of the time you audit. Like, and so imagine like the fees that are being spent on that every year, lost files and invoices, and people can't find it. So yeah, it took me back to my corporate days for a moment when you said that. So I definitely appreciate that. Gosh, so good. I love all this. Thank you so much. This has been absolutely brilliant, and made me question a few things about myself. And I'm sure there's a few other people out there going, Yeah, still doing that. Oh, eek. Yeah. Even though we probably should, should know better, but I absolutely. I think my favorite thing. I mean, they were all great, but just the guilt when you have guilt and worry, there's no space for flow. You can't be in flow if you're in that mental space. So I really, really appreciate that.
Right.
I also appreciate you've got a beautiful free gift for everybody on this series. It's 20 ways to save time. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, and we'll have that all linked up in the details for everybody just below.
Oh, sure. If you like what you heard today and you'd like more from me, I'm offering a free productivity training on my website. It's called 20 Ways to Save Time, and it's at Kathryn-McKinnon.com. That's KATHRYN-MCKINNON. So if you ever feel overwhelmed by everything you have to do and frustrated because there's never enough time to get it all done, you can add more productive time to your day, and you can end your day with a feeling of freedom and accomplishment and inspiration. With my free productivity training, you'll discover the amazing power of just 5 minutes an hour, and a time calculator I created that shows how much time and money effective time management skills will add to your day. And the number one time waster for executives and professionals and business owners, and how to solve it, how to easily find extra time in your day, and my top 20 ways to save time. So you can get your free gift if you want to reduce the chaos and stress and add order and structure to your day, boost your energy, and explode your productivity. You can download it at Kathryn-McKinnon.com.
Beautiful. Links are all below, and thank you so much. I'm going to go and check that out right now. And thank you so much for this. I really appreciate your time and energy, and all of your amazing tips. So thank you so much. And any last share or takeaway for the listeners?
Well, Joanna, I would just like to say that we always spend time doing things that matter most to us, the things that are most important to us. So just notice how you spend your time. If what you're doing isn't most important to you, then change it. Do something different. Take a look at how you really spend your time, because unless you're aware of the things you do with your time, you're never going to be able to make a change. You'll never be as productive as you want to be. You'll never have that balance you want, or the flow, as you call it. And it's not rocket science. I wasn't born a time management expert. It took me years to figure this out, but I did figure it out. And the fact is, you don't have to wait 25 years to make the same mistakes I made. You can make a change today if you're committed to it, if you want to. And it just takes a moment to make a change and make a commitment and start building some new productive habits that will actually get you where you want to go.
Beautiful. So good. Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.